Hey, welcome back to Evil's Comics. I'm Evil Mike, and I got a review for you today. We're going to be talking about from Boom Studios, Once Upon a Time at the End of the World, issue number 5. It is written by Jason Aaron, art by Alexandre Tefeghini, color by Lee Luffridge. On pages 27 and 30, we got art by Nick Dragotta, color by Rico Renzi, and the whole thing is lettered by AndWorld Design. Before we get started on this review, please like, comment, subscribe on this channel. It does help a lot. It's all free, doesn't cost you anything. The subscription, the like, the sub, none of that costs anything. So we are with Maceo and Mezzi in the Wasteland. It's a post-apocalyptic world that has been destroyed. We have been introduced to the Wasteland Rangers, who Mezzi used to be a part of. Or Esmeralda is her full name. She had left the Rangers due to kind of a backstory we got in issue 3. It was the death of her, like, best friend / kind of first kiss kind of thing. It was, I don't know. But she eventually escaped from the Wasteland Rangers, and she took their precious book, the only book that exists that has all their rules and survival stuff and stuff like this. In the last issue, Maceo, or I think it was at the end of the 3rd issue or something like that, Maceo got caught, and we've been dealing with the repercussions. They mentioned something called the Apocalyptics. It's like a end of the world type of Olympics style game that they're going to put Maceo through, and that's exactly where this book catches up. So right now we're with the Maw, who is like the leader of the Wasteland Rangers, scene right here, and she's basically, kind of explaining what Maceo is about to go through. And this part surprised the hell out of me, because right here after she's like, oh, you're just gonna die, you don't know anything about these tests. And Maceo says, like, one of the realest things. He was like, man, I've been like 8 months to a year or something like that with one of your best Rangers. He was like, and I've been listening and learning everything that she taught me. And then, like, this panel right here, he was like, man, I'm going to kill the hell out of the Rangers. It doesn't exactly go out like that. I mean, it was pretty dope that he had that confidence in the speech. And it was true. He had been with, Mezzi the whole time learning and stuff like that. So they show different trials, and as you can see right here, and I'll do the whole spread, it's all kind of different stuff from distance spitting to, it's supposed to be like ooze jumping, and he falls in the ooze. But all of these trials he fails, and they show like a little scoreboard, like, how he's doing compared to the other Rangers, and his score, of course, always stays at 0. Even some of the more, I guess you can say, like, easier trials or something like that, he still, like in golf, it says he got a quintuple bogey, like he didn't hit anything. So we get to the last part of the Apocalyptics, and it's basically a fight to the death. This guy is just basically dragging Maceo off to be taken away from camp, and he's supposed to be, preparing for the final battle. He wasn't aware that it was to the death during that, situation. That's when he learns that it's to the death. He still has the confidence that he did in the beginning, even though he has failed every other trial. The fight to the death is the one that he believes he will, succeed in. They do show these, the other Rangers have all chosen weapons, and they're getting ready for the final battle, because it's going to be all of them versus him. It's not going to be like a one-on-one battle. It's the rules are very mean and unfair, but it's supposed to represent the Wasteland. The Wasteland is mean and unfair kind of thing. So they do show Mezzi out in the Wasteland prepping in what looks like a, like an old car graveyard or something like that. What do they call it? Junkyard. Maceo finally comes back, or Mezzi, she finally comes back to, greet Maceo, and she's trying to get him to escape, and that's what she, comes. She's like, come on, man, they're all distracted and getting these rage merit badges, something like that, or war dance merit badges. But basically, she comes to rescue Maceo, and he's like, "Nah, I'm good." And he was like, "I've been free for a little bit." It shows that he's already gotten out of his shackles. He says he did that hours ago because he needed to go collect waste to invent stuff, and basically he explains to Mezzy that he's prepared for this challenge. It's the one that he's been waiting for. They effed up by letting him get materials and stuff to invent. There was this whole back and forth, conversation about like towards Maceo and Messi, and it's really like this: you don't need to do this, you don't need to be like them, kind of thing. And Maceo just has this plan in the background. Not only does he plan to win, but he plans to change things, kind of thing, is what the basis of the sum up. Um, but eventually, after Maceo does not give in because his confidence, he knows he's going to win, kind of thing. Which throughout the story they haven't shown us that he has the confidence, but he's been losing. But eventually she's just like, screw this, I'll make a deal with the mall. So eventually she calls out for the Rangers and to be taken to the mall, which happens very quickly. The Rangers show up, they take her to the mall, and basically she spits out a deal about the mall releasing Maceo if she gives them the Ranger handbook back. Of course, Messi doesn't have the Ranger handbook. It doesn't give it back to her, but the mall eventually declines the whole situation and takes Messi anyways. This whole like background story about how the mall wants Messi to be the next mall of the Racelands Rangers, it kind of comes up, so that's why she captures Messi. But basically she turns down the deal, basically saying that you were dumb and like sticking with this guy. We're going to show you what the Wastelands is going to do to him. It's only fair. The Wastelands is harsh, kind of thing. There is a moment when Messi tries to talk sense into the other Rangers, saying she's seen, that after being with Maceo, that there are different paths. It's not just this one set path like the Wasteland Rangers guide sets up. But eventually, from behind, she is knocked out, unconscious. The very last thing they show is just Maceo still inventing what he believes is going to win the day. The next day they show all the Rangers lined up with their various weapons and stuff like that, ready for the final death battle. Mezzy, their names are so close, I'm sorry. Mezzy is over here with the Maw, which I think this is kind of cool. She has this like guy on a electric power thing to keep her oxygen tanks going. But it's basically the start of the competition. There is mention that in this backstory that Messi had killed the original, the old Ranger that was looking for the Paradise. It is mentioned here by the Maw that he did not die there. That he basically kind of like turned into a vegetable, and like they couldn't keep him around, so they left him in that lake where Jenny died. And it's brought up, to hurt Messi at that moment, like the mention of Jenny, kind of thing. So we finally get to see Maceo walk up with his invention, and lo and behold, it is some kind of futuristic looking gun. Everybody laughs at him just like I am now, because they're like, there's no bullets, yeah, he built a gun, but all the resources you would need to fire the gun is gone. The Maw basically tells the Rangers to attack. Maceo gives this warning. He fires his massive gun, which it turns out to be like these rockets that are heading straight for the Rangers. But right before they get to the Rangers, they joust up ahead and land into the mountainside right right behind where the Rangers are. The Rangers all laughed, complaining, definitely expecting what they were expecting from Maceo, saying that he completely missed, that kind of thing. And it's one of those moments where he was like, nah, I didn't miss. It was a perfect shot. Come to find out, what he did to that mountain was he literally, in one shot, sculpted an exact replica of a happy-looking Messi. all the Rangers, the Maw, Mezzy, everybody sees this. And in one instant, they're all taken aback. They're like, wait a minute, you created this thing to make a sculpture out of Mezzy? And he's like, yeah, because that's how I feel. And he was like, and nothing ever is ever going to change that. He was like, so this is a fight to the death. Y'all have already lost. He was like, I just made something that is forever there. He was like, so even if you kill my body, and he was like, that thing that I just made, it'll forever be there. He was like, so y'all have lost. Um, they are instructed to, you know, kill him. But after looking at the happy, because he sculpted it with smile. They're all like taken aback by it. They all drop their weapons in front of Maceo, claiming that he won right here. Not only that, but they're all taken aback by the beauty. All the Rangers and maybe the Maw themselves have been like entrusted in this wasteland scout ranger thing, that they haven't stopped to actually notice, you know, beautiful things that we've seen since the first book from Maceo, and those little, like, you know, pieces of glass that he was trying to give Maisie in the beginning. Eventually there is one scout that, you know, he is crying at first, but eventually, you know, after hearing them all in the background, he is kind of persuaded to go back to his ranger ways, and he chunks it's the same thing that knocked out Mezzy before, but he chunks it at Maceo, hoping to kill him. Mezzy jumps in the way, kicks it back at him, and it ends up like cracking his leg and crumpling him down to the ground. You know, him claiming that she ruined his life, blah, blah, blah. Messy, remembering that this guy had part to do with killing Jenny, and not only that, but after Jenny died, he laughed. So Messy literally like cold cocks the crap at him with this big metal, you know, spiked ball. It doesn't end up killing him, but you know, I imagine it knocked. I'm pretty sure it did. It gave him a pretty good, you know, cut, bruise. I don't know. At this time, we see them all, like, you know, all the scouts are kind of turning against her. She's fallen out of her chair. They're basically like, they're kind of turning to Mez, and they're like, what do we do now? And, you know, now that we don't have them all. And Mezzy kind of tells them the most realist thing that they all need to hear, but they've been training to survive out in the wastelands, earning these merit badges and this and that, but they literally have not been putting that to use, actually surviving, and that's what Mezzy tells them to do. Eventually, you know, Mezzy walks back over to the Maw, basically telling her that that's the end of her reign, that Maceo was successful in not only destroying the Rangers, but destroying her hateful rage of this not being able to change with the times, that kind of thing. And basically kind of saying the same thing to the Maw, that, you know, I mean, we're all going to go and survive, we're going to go different paths. And now it's up to you to survive on your own, like you've kind of instructed us to do, kind of thing, which, you know, without her machines and stuff, she's probably not going to live that long. You know, she was living off an oxygen tank, kind of thing. Eventually we have this moment, and it's like my favorite part of this book, but it's Maceo and Mace, and Maceo's like, you know, he's coming, not only admitting, but it's everything that he said when he launched that rocket and made that statue in the mountain face of Mezzy, and he's basically confessing her love. He hasn't said that word specifically, but everything around what he says is basically, you know, him confessing that not only will he follow her forever and he will always be there, but, you know, eventually, and she has the same sentiment, and I was so afraid they wouldn't do this, but we finally get like a real kiss from Maceo and Maze. So right here, as pre-mentioned, this is page 27, and the book reverts to our futuristic storyline where we are with Maceo and his Swiss Army man like person, because as you can see right here, he has all these like blades and guns and stuff, because he is this master inventor. He has come up with all this stuff over like the 40 years that he has been in the wastelands. So at this point, he is broken out of his shackles. He has already killed most of these things that were like holding him you know, hostage or whatever, asking about this machine, and right now it's getting reversed. He's already killed all those people, and now he's asking the questions. How did they know about the machine? Who told them about the machine? We do get a final answer on what they plan to do with the machine, and it's basically they plan to kill the Earth. Um, After that, he does end up killing that last guy that he was, but some other of his friends like show up, and basically claiming that they know who, Maceo is, and they're fully aware of his inventing status and this and that. And boy, did they make a mistake, because right after that, he cocks his shotgun arm again, and not only that, but he throws like a Molotov cocktail at them, and or aha, it's not. He didn't throw the Molotov cocktail, but somebody did, and all of a sudden, walking through the fire after Maceo kills all these guys. And we realize who threw the Molotov cocktail, and it is an older version of Mezzy. They have finally been reunited, just like they were in the very beginning of the story, and now we're going to find out what's what. What's with this machine, what happened to them, how did Maceo get so crazy. But that is the end of this issue. I will like to highlight that at the very bottom it does say next issue, book 2 begins. And that's one of the reasons I've been kind of a little behind on this book, why I knew I had a little time to do the review on this one. So I wasn't too far forgotten. I didn't want to do this when it came out, because it was a big gap in between this book and the next book. But man, you're telling me since the beginning of the story, it has just gotten phenomenally better. And even things that I keep like trying to predict or come up with, Jason Aaron, he keeps... it's like breaking out of the box kind of stuff, and I love this writing, the art, the way it's progressing. I love it. In the beginning, I wasn't a big fan of the, a story being stuck in the present, and then a story being stuck in the future. But the way it's building and setting up, I'm really digging it. It presents more the like surprise. There's so much mystery in the in between, and plus that the mystery they've set up for the end of the book. I don't know, but these are my thoughts, my opinions. Let me know your thoughts, your opinions. What did you think about this issue? Did you like it? Did you love it? Are you still on board for the next issue? Are you just excited as I am? I don't know. Let me know. Alright guys, that's my review. I'll see y'all later.